talk about mandated reporting today, and then I think Terry and or Tina have some things to go over after. So I'm going to knock out kind of just some explanations on what this is, and then after I have a couple of scenarios that I'm going to read through, and whoever wants to jump in first to answer the questions will get a candy bar. This is traded for pretty much anything in the store. So if you don't like candy bars. So first, what is mandated reporting and who are mandated reporters? So a mandated reporter is anyone who has a legal obligation by working for a healthcare facility that works with vulnerable adults who have been reported that or suspected abuse, neglect, exploitation, or self-neglect of a vulnerable person, which is children, elders, or clients like ours who have disabilities. That's either physical or intellectual, developmental. It's just someone who isn't going to be able to fully stand up for themselves. And it doesn't matter if you know for sure, if someone divulges to you that they've been abused in some way, you have to report. And this also includes purposeful or unintentional exploitation, abuse, neglect, or self-neglect. And because that one, when adult protection was training us on this, I was like unsure. I kind of made like a quick example for it. So unintentional example. So Lexi is an adult with a developmental disability. All of these people are going to be people with developmental disabilities because that's who we work with. She's a care provider who helps her get groceries every week. Her care provider goes to buy groceries for Lexi, uses Lexi money to buy the groceries and to gas up her car. She didn't think anything of it because she was doing a task for the client, so she thought she could use that money. That is not okay. That was unintentional exploitation and abuse of a person she was trying to care for. And it needs to be reported. So whoever helpfully helps track financials will need to report that to the client on their behalf. So who is a mandated reporter? Like I said, anyone who works in healthcare facilities serving adults with developmental, intellectual disabilities, physical disabilities, which is every single person in this room. We are a healthcare facility, and because our primary services to those with developmental disabilities, we are all mandated reporters. So who do you guys report to? You actually just report to all of you guys, to me and to Tina, because she's your direct supervisor and I'm the supervisor of the client. Of course, if you can't get a hold of us for some reason, there's a chain of commands that I'll go through and some examples of who you go to next if you can't get a hold of us. So any questions so far on that? Okay. So on the table, I put down a couple of incident and accident reports. I just kind of wanted you guys to see what those look like. Here, there's some more of this if you guys need. These papers, I believe, are in all of the cars binders. If they're not, let us know because we need to get some in there. If they're not, okay. Yeah. So we'll get some in there hopefully by the end of this week. This way, it's just kind of with you wherever you're at. If something happens, you'll have it right on hand. So how do you know when it is that you report? So you report any type of accident or incident that happens at all on these papers whenever it happens. So an accident report is if a client gets injured, even if they're okay after, you don't have to administer first aid, you don't have to even put a band-aid on them. If they get hurt on the job or they trip and they fall, something that needs to be reported in an accident report. That's just something that it just happened. There wasn't really a way to prevent it in the moment. But as you're filling out the report, it's very important to be very detailed on it. That way, say someone does trip and fall outside, if there's like a big rock or something that they tripped over, we need to do our part to make sure that we get that hazard out of the way. So we need to detail on them as we possibly can. And then is legible writing as we can as well. For incident reports, these happen anytime the client has either like extreme maladaptive behavior, or screaming at you, they're yelling at you, throwing a tantrum. If they're starting to be like aggressive, it's protect yourself in a situation. If they're being physically aggressive, it's probably going to be best just to call 911 and then call your supervisor after. For an accident report, if someone, sorry, I'm going to jump back to that real quick. If someone gets, like, they trip and they fall, they scrape up their elbow, they need an accident report. And you can shoot me a quick text, but it doesn't need to be like, hey, Hannah, something happened, you need to, like, get some extra help out here. If that's something like that does happen, they get a really big cut, or if they fall really hard and you're a little bit concerned, even though they say they're okay, there might be some shock, go ahead and text me and give a call to me and Tina. That way we can jump in and offer you guys some help. Maybe they do need to go to the hospital, maybe not, figure it out with you. And if something really dangerous happens, they trip, they fall, they hit their head, that is immediately kind of emergency type of situation, especially if they have trouble getting up after, words are slurring, that is immediately you need to call 911 to get help, and then you call me right after. For incident reports, anytime there's an incident report, please immediately call me and Tina. This means something major is happening that we want to be involved with to make sure that you guys and the clients are as safe as possible. Again, if they're threatening to harm themselves or others, or they're getting physically aggressive with themselves or others, protect yourself and call 911. Another reason that we call the incident report, you can see on there, is someone divulges, it might be on there, it might be on the ELC one, which also shows you how to, if someone discloses to you information. So if someone says, you know, I'm having suicidal thoughts, or someone has touched me at home, send me an incident report, you can contact me. So really, for the most part, you can pretty much always text or call TND if something happens. And if anything bigger than a cut happens, we want to know about it, because we had a situation recently, a client got injured on the job, it was an accident. We weren't informed about it, but because we weren't informed about it, it ended up going to bill protection, and we were unaware of the entire situation. Everything is taken care of, the bill protection is, and you know, they're pretty much going to make this a quick case because it was an accident, but we just need to know that so we can be prepared, either as a reporter to report or know that something is going to be coming in. So, any questions so far? Okay, then we're going to rock the scenarios. So, I'm going to read through these, and then if you want to answer, please just jump in when it gets to the end, and regardless if right or wrong, you get a candy bar just for participating, so I appreciate it. So, Bob is your client. You look at Bob to clean site every day. If Bob is walking into the building with you, he trips and lands hard on his hands and knees. After a second, Bob stands up and continues to head for the building. You've asked if he's okay, and he's responded that he's fine. Should you report this?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Albert. Easy.
So, what type of report should it be? Perfect. And you contact anyone?
Yeah.
You can contact.
You were team.
Yes. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay. They're all pretty simple. I will say, just because I kind of touched on it already, trigger warning, there are some of these that, and you might hear it one day just because I have, there will be, you know, you could get a disclosure of sexual abuse, physical abuse, suicidal ideation, or thoughts, or attempts. I only in my 4 years here working here had 2 people divulge anything like that to me, but it does happen, so I just want to be prepared for it. For the next scenario, next candy up. John is your client. He's been somewhat argumentative throughout the shift. He will ignore you when you speak to him for the first time, but seems to do it last a second. He's complained that he doesn't understand why he's doing all the work, and that things having to clean the tables is stupid because they don't look good. That's probably a complaint you'll actually get Monday, if you haven't already. Okay, so is this something that you should report?
No.
Right, wrong. On the back of the data sheet, you report it.
Yeah.
If he's having a weird day, either a weirdly good day, weirdly bad day, jot it on the back of the sheet. It doesn't need to be as detailed as the accident or incident report, but we do want to have that noted in case there's been a med change at home, something stressful happening. You can just be aware and help out as much as possible. Do you need to contact anyone?
No.
Yeah.
Just write it on the back.
Write it on the back.
Yeah.
If you believe the situation is handled, you don't need to text me, but if you're a little concerned about it, go ahead and shoot me a text just so I can be aware of it. This is actually a continuation, but it is up for another payment bar still. You've been able to convince John to continue working throughout his shift. You're double checking his work later that night and notice that he hasn't swept, but he's grabbing a mop bucket. You redirect John's attention to the floor and note that, so the floor can be as clean as possible, sweeping should be done first. John suddenly yells out at you that you're stupid and lazy and throws the mop onto the floor. He says he's going to refuse to work any more tonight. Should you report this?
Yeah.
You guys can trade candies to whoever's after. I'm just grabbing them as they go. So, could it be an accident or an incident report?
That's an incident.
It is an incident report, yeah. And then do you contact anyone?
I write it down, and
I would
if it escalates a little more, but it's better.
Yeah, so
Contact
definitely
someone.
write it down. So any of these that happen definitely should be written on the back of the paperwork, just a quick note on it. But for this one, I would say go ahead and contact us, because at this point, the client is showing he's being aggressive, he's throwing something, which is never okay, especially in the program that you guys pretty much work in. You guys know that doing something like that is not okay. It's not okay for work at all. So go ahead and give me a call and send me a call. That way, I can go right down there and kind of hopefully talk it out with him there. Perfect. So the next one, Joanna is your client. She's cleaning a bathroom and cut herself on a metal piece of equipment. She's bleeding and we hope to put on a band-aid using appropriate techniques. Can you put on clean like gloves to have as much protection for you as possible? Should you report it?
Yes.
Yes. Could be an accident or incident. Perfect. And should you contact anyone? Contact anyone?
Yeah, you and
Perfect. Okay. So, next one, second to last. So, Paige is your client. She came to work today and was very quiet, which is unusual. She gets to work, but it moves very slowly and seems to be very easily distracted and is very unfocused. You ask her if she's all right, and she doesn't answer. You let Paige know that she can talk to you, and you ask again if she's okay, or if there's something you can do to support her until the end of her shift. Paige says, if I tell you something, you promise not to tell anyone. Do you make that promise? Definitely not. We are mandated reporters. That means that if they divulge anything to us, we have to report it.
In fact, you can be charged with obstruction of justice.
Yeah.
If it goes that far. I've actually had someone where the prosecutor threatened it because they were held abused and stuff. It's not just a New Day thing, that's a criminal thing.
So in that situation, don't promise it. Tell her, you can talk with me. But hey, we're gonna do our best to support you through this. You can talk to me, but you can't promise not to tell anyone. She waits a moment and then sits down, and Kate tells you that over the weekend she went to her family's house and that someone at the house touched her inappropriately. What should be your next move?
Incident report.
So, one thing, let her know that she did the right thing by telling you. Really encourage that type of behavior of letting her know that it's okay to talk to you and she needs to report the type of things that happen. Second thing, tell her that you are a mandated reporter. You are required by law to tell your supervisor that she reports that to you. And that's okay, she did the right thing by telling you, but you have to do it. And then third, call me immediately. If you don't get me, call Tina. If you don't get Tina, call Kathy W. If you can't get Kathy W, then call Carrie, because this is a very, very serious incident. We will go to wherever you guys are at and can report from there. So just it's really important when something like that happens, it's such a heavy topic that we bring up, encourage them and praise them for telling you what you know you have to report it because you're an angry reporter and then we will take over from there. Someone answered it, but I don't remember who. Was it you? I think so. Okay. And then, so the last one, last candy, 2 questions on it. Kat is your client, she came to work today, but immediately sat down and ignored everyone and everything around them. They seem to be chipper, but they seem very down. Upon asking them about it, they ask you to keep a secret. Keep a secret.
No.
No. Promise to keep a secret. Kat is quiet for a while and then divulges to you, I want to die. I want to kill myself. So, what is your next move?
Encourage the behavior of reporting.
Rockstar. Encourage them for telling you, praise them, let them know that was the exact right thing to do. Inform them that, again, if you're a reporter, you have to report it. With something like this, do not let them out of your sight until you get a hold of someone. Again, it's call me, call Tina, call Kathy, call Terry. It's important just because sometimes it's just the beginning of suicidal ideation. Sometimes people have a plan and we want to make sure that they're going to be as safe as possible while they're on our time until we can get further help. And one of us supervisors will help you figure that out, but just make sure that they don't while you're trying to get a hold of someone, just in case. Okay. Any questions? A lot of information again, but the main thing is write it down on the whatever incident report and then contact me and Tina. For people watching the video, if Tina's not your direct supervisor, contact your direct supervisor. And then also me. So